the theme that I'm seeing on the resilience aspect is having a future-proof infrastructure, right? Not be reactive, but rather be proactive before any of these happen.
Hi there, welcome back to Water Finance and Management Conversations. I'm your host, Andrew Farr, Managing Editor of Water Finance and Management, and I have a great guest joining me today for a quick discussion that I think you're going to enjoy. We're going to spend a few minutes on a topic that we have revisited a few times this year, and that is digital twin. And the theme of our discussion today is going to be along the lines of why digital twin and why now. So if you're not all that familiar with digital twin, that's okay. You may know at the very least it's another tool in the water utilities digital toolbox, so to speak. But today I'd like to hone in on some of the specific challenges that digital twin can actually address. And I'd like to welcome Shar Govindan, Director of Water Solutions at Bentley Systems. Shar, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. And so maybe we can start right there. What are some of the primary pain points that you're seeing water utilities solving using digital twins?
Pain points. Those are problems worth solving. I think digital twins help solve pain points at multiple levels. One is horizontally within the water utility itself, bringing all these different kinds of information from across the organization flow seamlessly, helping visualize the current and future conditions of the entire water distribution network. Then vertically, right, you've got the general manager or the director's perspective giving a holistic view for decision making as to which projects should be prioritized, because there's always a lot of projects and you have limited budgets and resources. And they want to have a quick way to also give guidance for their teams. And you have all these roles within the team that look to them for guidance. And they're also looking at it from a daily operations perspective. So, you may have a pipe break, how to quickly take care of it. Or some people may be looking at things in the long term, like capital planning, or it could be regulation driven, like a water audit. It could be environmental driven, like saving pumping energy. So understanding where to focus their efforts and preventing a lot of these customer complaints proactively, because, the insights that they receive because of these just-in-time alerts and notifications and enabling excellent customer service, right? And for example, if you're able to understand the impact of a shutdown and notify the customers before it happens, right? You are making the customer's life easier. And I think that's what the main challenge is to improve the level of service, and that's what the digital twins help mitigate quite a bit.
And what about any recurring themes or threads with a lot of those? I know you mentioned regulatory compliance and resilience and perhaps anything that you're seeing, any trends or patterns with regards to various sizes utilities. Is there any common themes you're seeing?
Absolutely, Andrew. I think all of these challenges, as you know, are fairly common across the utilities around the world to some extent. However, they vary in magnitude depending on the challenges are somewhat unique to them, like market drivers, and some of them, based on where they're located, they may have different regulations and funding availability. And like you said, it's also the size of the water utility, right? So depending on where they are located, they may be impacted by drought or cold weather, or they may be facing an increase in demand because of growth that they're having. So there's definitely a greater focus on resilience and reliability these days. So those are some of the common themes that I've been seeing recently.
Shar, I wanted to ask you about resilience and sustainability. Now, I know I mentioned resilience and emergency planning a little bit earlier, but that really seems like an area that is of huge attention for utilities. I don't need to get into COVID, but it seems like this whole theme of letting the technology do the work and really adopting pieces of technology to bolster resilience and sort of protect against future threats is really a theme we're seeing across the industry. And I'm wondering what you think about how that theme ties in with digital twin.
Absolutely. So resilience, right? That's one of the key strengths of a water utility. They want to be resilient. And like you said, on one side, you've got all of these emergency events that, such as like pipe breaks, or you get a little bit of a heads up, like a weather event that may be happening. And one thing you want to ensure is prevent these service interruptions from happening in the first place. And the theme that I'm seeing on the resilience aspect is having a future-proof infrastructure, right? Not be reactive, but rather be proactive before any of these happen. And for Bentley, right, one of our purposes is to empower sustainable development goals. You may have heard of it from United Nations and so on. In fact, there's a team of ambassadors within Bentley, including me, working on supporting our environmental sustainability goals, right? We are here to empower those sustainability goals. In fact, our director, Rodrigo Fernandez, he's championing initiatives along with his team to help our users realize outcomes that are focused on sustainability, and being able to achieve predictable outcomes, and also being resilient, like we discussed before. And when you zoom in on water, it's clear what everybody wants around the world, right? We want to have a circular economy where we reduce the water loss. When it comes to reducing energy, we want to optimize the pump efficiency towards achieving these net zero and reducing the carbon footprint. With so much data available, it is no longer something you think about later, but rather you look at what's going on, look at the options, and make them happen, because otherwise it's just money being wasted and water being wasted, right? You're able to save all this pretty quickly by being proactive about it, because every water drop saved, is earned as well, right? So
Yeah, and final question, which I think will help us sum up a couple of these points. What would you recommend for a utility just getting started in this digital journey? What advice could you offer, and what resources are available to them?
yeah, I think it's a great journey, and I say great with emphasis. The good news is this great journey has been completed by some other utilities already. Some are on their way, and we work with a lot of them. One thing we've done a fantastic job of is working with these utilities and capturing these as case studies, right? We've got case studies from BC Water, Sabas, Bajia, and so on. And all of these are metrics driven, right? They focus on key KPIs that they would want to achieve and measure progress towards. So I think learning from other utilities that are of similar size and having similar challenges is a great first resource. And for Bentley, this is super important. That's why we've gotten a experienced team of professionals who implemented tens of digital twins around the world. We offer coaching, training, support. We are with them, every step of the way. We help with configuration. And back to the first discussion that we had, Andrew, is the challenges that they're having, right? We try to understand what challenges they're having, and develop user-specific solutions that zoom in on what they care about and work towards that. But we're also working through partners, right? We have digital integrators around the world. We're always recruiting new ones too. This helped us scale globally. So I think a journey is something that is done together, right? And ultimately, why are we doing this, right? Our goal is to have the water utility improve their service levels, have happier customers, but also have employees with greater job satisfaction, right? So I think digital twins has a lot of non-tangible benefits as well.
Sure, it's been a pleasure spending a couple minutes chatting with you about this. And obviously, digital twin, as I mentioned, it's just one tool in the utilities digital toolbox. And so there's an awful lot to talk about. Integration with other pieces of software and technology is perhaps a whole other angle to this. When we talk about all the different systems that a utility uses nowadays. So I think we could really pick up on this topic and talk a lot more. So hopefully we can do that in the future. So Shar, we'll leave it right there. And thanks for spending a couple minutes with us.
Thank you, Andrew. A cartoon comes to mind. A question was asked, what is more important? Is it a journey or the destination? And the reply was, it's a company you keep, right? So I think this is a journey that a lot of utilities are taking together, and will be successful in the end. So looking forward to it. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate the opportunity.
Subscribe to Water Finance and Management's YouTube page and visit waterfm.com for the latest water industry news and insight.